Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Are we finally going to have a very, very stressful session?
No, today's going to be even more relaxed than the last couple.
And
Excited.
I saw that you stayed on very, very late yesterday. So I should say we're going to have a very short one today, a very laid back session today.
I'm excited.
Um, so just in case somebody's just wandered it off the ether or somebody's forwarded them this video after that, what are we doing?
Yeah, if you're tuning in for the first time, Jess and I are running a couple of free boot camps. This is the web development boot camp. And then in February, around February, I think
12th.
12th.
Oh, there's an optional session on the 8th, that Friday, but we're
Yeah,
starting for real on the 12th.
correct. So we'll be doing a JavaScript boot camp, all based on what you see here at Free Code Camp. If you're already tuning in for the first time and you're like, oh, this sounds really cool, but how can I catch up? Is it too late? Nope. There's all the time in the world. This is all self-paced. This is all asynchronous. So we do these live sessions, but they're recorded on YouTube. So if you go to youtube.com/@badwebsiteclub, you'll find everything there.
Yeah. Just a really quick whip round as fast as we can. If you're hanging out with us today or in general, there's a code of conduct. Where am I? Go go
All
to
right.
bit.ly/bwc-coc. Just by hanging out, you're agreeing that this is the kind of vibe you're going for. And I'm going to go ahead and grab a Discord invite just in case anybody needs. Oh, hello, loves. All of y'all hanging out. I am seeing some familiar faces and some brand new names, and everything is easy. While I grab this link,
Oh, I
what
have
is
it.
oh, pair programming. What's pair programming? Just to
Ooh, I'm
remind
excited.
us.
Yeah, I'm excited. So pair programming is where two people are working on the same code base. So Jess and I are going to be working on the code together. Jess is going to be driving, that is, she's going to be doing the typing, and I'm going to be navigating, which means I'm going to be sort of like have the map of the code with me while we go on this adventure and give us directions.
I might say you're going to be the brains, I'm going to be the muscle, and between the two of us, we will pull off this heist.
It's going to be amazing.
So, one thing I want to call out is we've skipped a big chunk.
Hmm.
And I'm excited at this because it not only lets me be lazy, bwahahaha, and lets learners do some of the HTML stuff they're probably a little bit more comfortable with by now. But it also lets us talk about reading code. I mean, like we write code a lot, right?
Yeah.
Right. What is reading code different? Is it special? Why is that important?
Well, it's super important because, like, especially when we work in bigger software projects, not all, in fact, I would say a vast small part of the code we contribute. No, let me try that again. The not a Oh my goodness, I'm
I
sorry.
got you. Can I do it?
Go for it.
So, when you're working on a real life project in the real wild, if that's open source or if that's a project for money, love y'all getting paid. It's really rare that you're going to sit down by yourself with one person and
Yeah.
get a blank sort of page, as it were, and start from nothing. Usually it'll be like, hey, here's some code that already exists, or fix this problem in this code. Um, I think, does Felina Hermans do a project with reading code that I could have looked up before we started?
Oh, oh, you did, the code book club.
Yeah.
Code reading club?
Oh, she's got a Wikipedia page. That's well fancy. I'm
Love it.
just going to grab that to see. Oh, it's from 2020. Oh, this is in Dutch. Oh, hang on.
Take
I
your time.
will let's come back to this. I will find this later. I forgot how bad web search has gotten these days.
Yeah, so what we'll be doing here is building a piano using responsive web design. And we've done a tiny bit of web responsiveness already, some Flexbox, some other stuff. We're going to be tapping into media queries today, but don't worry, we'll get into what those are in a bit. What we
S
want to Sorry.
No, no, no. I was gonna say starting at the top, can we just talk through really fast what's going on here, and then we'll race, and then we'll retire?
Sounds good. So we've got our HTML already in place. We've got our head, our HTML with set to English. We've
You
got
don't
our
have to
head.
have it in English. We're not the boss of you.
Nope.
Love to see for some of y'all's projects, I would love to see some of them in different like your home languages or languages you're learning. It's not required. I'm just interested in it.
Yeah. So we've got our head with our metadata. We've got
Oh,
meta
this is
trust
important,
UK.
isn't it?
Yeah. So this is going to be really important for telling the page to let itself be displayed in a responsive manner. That is to scale itself along with the device's width.
Okay, so this is saying it's a meta tag. The type of the name of it, what it's doing is the viewport. And let's break this down because this is the most important. It says the content is going to be equal to. So I'm setting where the content's going to be laid out. And I'm saying make the content as wide as
Yep.
the width of the viewport. So if it's something like a phone, the width of the phone,
Yep.
or if it's something like a browser window, the width. So make it as wide as you can naturally.
Mm-hmm.
But then for the height, the initial scale, keep it at 1.0. So if I've
Yeah.
got a tall, skinny viewport, I'm
Yep.
not going to stretch it out.
Exactly.
Oh,
And
but
that's it.
here, oh, and then we've got some stuff in the body.
Ooh, yeah. So we've already got our body with a div, a rectangle called piano with an ID of piano, only one piano here. A div inside it called keys with the class keys. And then from lines 11 to 20,
Uh, 30, 33.
33, we've got keys. Some of them have the class key, and others have the class key and also the class black key.
Okay, cool.
Shall we look at our styles real quick before we move on?
Do you know, excitingly, I thought we didn't have to. So, a big reason why none of our piano is showing it is we have absolutely no CSS done. We're going to do that together. We might skip stuff that feels a little bit repetitive if we're feeling a little bold.
I am
But
always feeling bold, so
all
let's
we're
go
going to do
ahead.
here is we're going to remember how we linked our CSS.
Yep,
And that's
that
a,
link tag
yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew that. I didn't know that.
with the rel
Oop, heck. Rel, and the rel is equal to style sheet.
style sheet. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, you got it.
And the ref, where we're throwing that anchor to, that link to,
Is
is
to
styles.
.css.
CSS. And this slash is kind of optional. This is saying, hey, in the same directory as my HTML file.
Actually, you're missing the dot before that, the full stop,
Oh, heck.
because the forward
This
slash by
to
itself says, "Hey, go back to the root
the
folder
root
of our web."
directory.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to have the slash, have the dot. Otherwise, I think it would work without it. But here it says dot
Yeah,
slash, and I love
it
a
should
green
work.
stripe. Nothing is wrong. None of this can hurt us.
Now
All
we'll be
right.
doing CSS.
So we're going to
So
set a
we're
rule
going to
for
use,
all of our HTML.
yep. So where the box sizing will be set to border box, which we've seen already several times, corresponds to uh, the border being part of the size of an element.
Cool. I got that.
You've got a double B there.
Yeah. This way it's double bordery.
All good. And I think that's it. Yeah,
Good.
nice.
Oh, these pseudos. You taught these, and I forgot how to do them.
Yeah.
But
So this is a little weird.
I love weird.
These
Let's get, yeah.
these aren't pseudo selectors. These are pseudo elements.
Elements.
So we have every element in HTML, we've got three, I should say. There's the element itself, the before element, and the after element. So the before element creates a pseudo element, which is the first child of the selected element, and the after selector creates a pseudo element, which is the last child.
Okay, so this means if if I've got 3 kittens in a row,
Yeah.
and I touch the kitten in the middle on the nose,
Yeah.
the pseudo element for before would refer to the kitten before the kitten I'm touching on the nose.
Yes.
And if I touch the first kitten on the nose, the after would target the second kitten because that's the kitten after the kitten I'm paying attention to.
Exactly.
Amazing. I think this would probably also work for puppies, but I would have a harder time wrangling 3 puppies.
Oh, absolutely.
So I want a CSS selector for all the elements, so it's gonna be that star, that global
Mhm.
one we've learned.
And we're gonna set their box size. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, yeah, so
We want to include the pseudo elements with before and after. So we first want to do star colon colon before
oh,
without the comma.
for without the comma?
Mhm.
Oh, because these are children of.
No, actually, we want to remove the space as well. So we want to do all of the pseudo. I have no idea if this is correct, by the way. We'll figure it out.
Okay. I was like, this also feels weird to me."
And I think then, uh, without, yep, we'll do.
Are we sure?
Well, we'll do the comma.
Kira says it's with a
So now we're
comma.
gonna do a comma. So after the before, so before the
A comma.
semicolon, before the semicolon. Sorry, after. Yeah, before the semicolon. I'm sorry, Jess.
Oh, yes.
There you go.
Everything's easy.
And then we'll do a star. Yes, exactly.
Okay,
So we're
I
gonna
think
tell
it
it.
still doesn't like this.
I
I'm
think it's
still
correct, but
getting those wiggles, but
I
sometimes the
think it's
wiggles
because we
lie.
haven't written anything in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's try. Um, we're gonna set the box sizing,
Hmm.
and here what we're gonna do is say set the box sizing to the okay, I think you were right. And inherit here means
So it's going
please
to end.
set the box sizing of the parent.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a bit weird, but hear me out.
Oh, no, I refuse. I no. But other folks should.
So we're telling every before and after pseudo element of every element in our document to use the same box sizing as the HTML element.
I got it. I got it. I think wait. So I'm saying so I want to apply this to everything, every single element on the page.
Yeah.
If I select any element on the page,
Hmm.
I want to apply these rules that I'm writing now
Yeah.
to the elements both before and after the one I've selected.
Correct.
So if I had 10 kittens in a room
Hmm.
and I put these rules on, and I touch kitten number 3,
Hmm.
kitten number 2, and kitten number 4 would get these rules applied, or all of them
So I think we need to take
except
a.
for 3.
I think the way it would work, right? We'd have a box of kittens. Hear me out.
Okay.
So we've got a box of kittens. Uh, let's say it's got 10 kittens. Let's say it's got that 10 kittens, right?
Okay.
Those are 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh, so this box, if we target its before and after, it's going to select the space before the first kitten and the space after the last kitten. So the kittens themselves, the contents, are not targeted.
So all of these kittens are in divs. All of You know what? I'm making it weirder. Let's just go and I bet they'll show us.
Cool.
Oh.
So
Oh.
Steven's got it right.
Oh. Yeah. And
So
Kira got it right. Also, do you know who else got it right?
Jess,
I didn't put the comma there, to be fair.
I'm very sorry. Hold on.
It's okay.
That is a tricky syntax.
Right?
My apologies.
So everybody in the chat is like, "I got it wrong too." Like, look, we've taught this before and we still can't and we reviewed it before we came in and we were still like, "Yeah, everything's fine. We got that little green stripe, and there's a
Just keep
reason we're
going.
doing it." So, if so the boot camp's always free code camp's always free, but if you've got some spare money, free code camp, the folks who make these material, they're a registered nonprofit. It's a nice thing to do.
Ooh, okay. Now we're going to start painting our piano. So we'll do hashtag
What
piano.
a wonderful sentence. Oh, let's zoom out a little bit so y'all can actually see.
Great. We're going to set our background color to be no red. Yeah, let's just copy paste it.
Yeah. And why don't we see anything yet?
Oh, we don't have a width or a height or any content.
So far, this isn't feeling like super duper responsive.
No, it seems pretty static.
Yeah, and ooh, static is the opposite. Oh, and a green piano. I quite like that. I'm gonna bop on. This
Yeah,
feels
let's keep going.
chill. Okay, I'm
Cool.
taking a
We'll do some
margin.
margin.
The margin is the space outside the element.
Correct. So the first value is going to be the vertical margin, the up and down, and then the horizontal margin.
Ah,
So we
nice.
can't quite see it because it's the preview is quite small, but the piano is now centered on our page.
It's a very large piano. Check our code. Everything's fine. None of this can hurt us. Okay. Oh, so this feels really basic. It feels like I'm going back to basic stuff. But this piano is
Mhm.
an ID because we've only got the one of it,
Correct.
where we've used classes for the keys because we've got a bunch of them. We want to set all those rules at once.
So first we've got the container of keys here.
Okay. Keys.
Mhm. And inside here
Oh,
we'll
and the
do the
class selector. So this sounds like it's two different things, but I could just say dot keys, and that's the class selector.
correct.
I probably wouldn't like if I was just learning it for the first time, but I like how it's giving you more and more natural human speech. So less type
Mm,
this, do this. 040.
that looks good.
That's fine. These are very specific.
Yeah, so this is a very fixed size, a very rigid size of our piano.
I bet that after we abandon our learners, they're going to make it increasingly responsive on their own.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to do it
Check our code.
amazing.
Okay. So if margin is outside, what's padding?
That's the inside, the bubble wrap on the inside of our rectangle.
I don't know if
We
you
don't see a
padding.
difference because the keys themselves are
I see a difference. It's just all the way on the left.
no, hold on, Jess. The
Okay.
padding, the
Yeah.
padding is the stuff on the inside of the keys. So
Oh,
this
the
black
inside of the
rectangle.
keys.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we've just put a little bit of left padding on our piano. If you go over here,
Yep. So I came all the way over to the left.
yeah,
Oh, it's the exact same. You're right. I was smug, but that's what margin would have done.
yeah. If we'd done margin, then it would have been a little bit further to the right.
Okay. So let's move the keys into position by adjusting.
Here we go. Now we're
Ah,
going to tweak the padding of the piano itself. So we're going to be seeing um, top, right, bottom, left. TRBL, treble.
okay. I see a really good question that we
I'm
might
gonna, yeah. Let me
say.
go ahead and answer that.
Oh, good.
So is
Thank you.
there a reason, perhaps due to accessibility, that suggested colors in lessons are often just a little off-white or off-black? I don't think so, actually. I think it's just so that we don't have a purely white white or black, and maybe for the in terms of accessibility, it's just not quite as hard on the eyes.
I think it might as well be getting used to typing the different ways to do color. So,
That could be it too.
hey, you've typed out this hex code. It's pretty much white. So we've got that padding and we've seen this drop into place.
Cool.
Everything's fine.
Amazing.
Oh,
Now we'll do
no.
the keys. This is gonna be great.
So oh, and this is something that would absolutely get me in the real world, is up here, we were setting the rules for keys. So the div the keys live in, you pointed out, and here we're gonna style the keys themselves.
Exactly. So one is a container. Now we're going to do each individual key.
I mean, but we're gonna do them all at once.
Correct. Because we've given a class, so it's gonna style all of them. So they're gonna be pure white. They don't have a size yet, so we
They
can't
don't
see
have
them. So let's give them a width and a height. Oh, no, sorry. We'll first give them the relative position.
Does it matter what order I do this in?
No.
Love it.
41 pixels.
And still nothing because we need
We need a height as well.
we're gonna do that. Oh, I just remember.
So we have a key.
That's I'm not gonna say why, and you're not gonna say why, but learners, tell us why, please, if it's not a bother. If you've got an idea, even if it's not the right idea, it's not gonna hurt anybody. We've got a bunch of keys.
Yeah.
Some of them are black key, and some of them are just key.
Yeah.
But this should have set the rules for all of them. Why don't I see a bunch of keys? Why do I just see one white key?
Do we really only
Don't
see one white key?
I just said don't.
Sorry.
Check our code. We're doing just fine. And because of the lag, folks are going to come in. They're going to get it perfectly. It's going to feel
Mhm.
like you gave away the game, but you did
I'm
not.
sorry. I
No,
didn't want our
no.
I didn't want.
The nice thing about latency is it always gives us an extra second before we sound silly. Sounds like I'm picking on you. I'm not even picking on you yet.
No, you're wonderful.
We've got a margin of 2 pixels. That's not a problem. What's a float property? Oh, what was that? What was that?
Look at that.
And
I also want
float.
to quickly answer Mark's
Yeah.
question real quick. Why are we using PX um, for the width and height on these div elements instead of percentage for responsive design? I thought percentage was an appropriate unit for responsive design. It absolutely is, but it's not the only way to do it. And you're going to see how we're going to make this piano responsive, not in
In a
terms
minute.
of the size of the keys, but I'll give you a hint. It's the number of keys. You'll see what I mean.
Yeah. I think this is so this I wait, no, let's put Mark back.
Oh,
Put Mark
sorry.
back. This is a fantastic question as well. Like, hey, this feels wrong based on the
Mm,
stuff I've already done. This should feel I think they're kind of leading us for this to feel a little wrong.
yeah,
So we
that's very well
floated
put.
them left. And once we floated them left, it looks like all of those keys were stacked up on top of each other like a deck of cards. This passes, we're going to keep popping on. Oh, wow. Okay. So, oh, these are the pseudo selectors we made earlier. Hmm. Hmm. I'm gonna just write what this says, and you, as the driver, or as the brain, you get to explain it. So, bwahahaha, please enjoy. I'm gonna use the dot key dot black slash slash key after select, and I'm even gonna copy it.
Mhm. So we're going to uh, target the element, which has both the class key and black key, z after element.
Okay.
And we're going to look at the inspector in just a moment to see what this will mean in just a minute, because it's going to
Oh,
be weird and it's going to be
it's gonna be
great.
weird. You had me at weird. I'm just gonna scroll back and forth a little bit, and this is gonna feel a little bit unkind, but
So we're going to set a background color. Remember, for that pseudo element. So we don't see that pseudo element just yet. We see the element, but not the pseudo element,
so
because
this doesn't do anything yet because we haven't selected anything to make them
they don't have a width or a
conceptually
height.
exist. And we're
Yeah.
gonna add a content empty string. Is this the first time we've seen an empty string? Oh,
We need
that's not
the
empty, is
colon.
it?
No, that's the space, but you need the colon, Jess, not the equal
Oh,
sign.
oh, heck.
So that is Not an empty string. That is a string with a space inside it.
Okay.
But hold on, I still don't see it.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't see the background color, the space with the
What?
background color.
Oh, so the pseudo elements still don't exist, do they?
Actually, they do.
They do.
Yeah, and you know how we can prove that? Is by looking at the inspector, the dev
S-
tools. So if you
Uh,
right click on one of the keys,
for inspect.
oh, I think by sharing a tab, we can't see the inspector.
Oh no.
That's
Okay.
totally fine. We'll go by trust. Um, so by setting this content property, then on the inspector, you'll be able to see. Oh, hello.
I'm coming back for
Nikita's asking there's 2 dashes. Yeah, the class name Black Key has 2 dashes in it. This is to separate the words.
y'all
You
just
can
got
also
like
do it
my
with
little
1 dash. Yeah, it's a naming thing. It's not some people do it with 2 dashes, some people do it with 1. There's no best practice. So
and
here
y'all are
just
getting me with my third favorite browser just because the streaming software we use does tend to if you work at StreamYard, call me, we'll fix it. I mean, we won't fix it, we'll yell at you.
um yeah, so now you can go to the preview. If you go code console preview, you see there's a preview there on the left-hand side.
Uh,
So not there in the dev tools, but back in free code camp.
okay.
Now if
Oh, in
you
preview.
move your yeah. So now if you right click on one of the keys and go on inspect, well, one of the ones that has a black key, you'll see what I mean.
I absolutely don't see what you mean.
So wait, bear with me.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No, no, I'm very, very excited for this.
so
So we've clicked just on this, and it's
yeah,
showing us where in the code we've clicked. So I've clicked
on that black
inspect
key.
on one of these keys, and it's showing me which key.
Now, I want you to please expand. You see that little triangle next to on the left-hand side of the div?
Uh, this one.
Yeah. That
Oh,
by setting the content of the after element to be an empty string, now it's saying, "Oh, cool. There's your div. I promise it's there."
okay. Weird, but I love weird. I'm going to close this out.
Yep. I'm sorry to take us on that tangent.
No, no, no. I was specifically talking about. So have we talked about strings yet?
Very briefly.
Okay. So we're going to talk about strings a lot when we start JavaScript on February 12th. It's kind of conceptually weird, but I just want think of a string as any kind of single. Mm. No, no, this will give me 2 weeks to think of a good way to describe a string. So a string is a way to handle text or a lack of text or numbers as text as an object.
Mhm. A
Objects are going to
message.
be wild. All of it's going to be so cursed. So
Yeah.
the content property is used to set or override the content of the element. If this doesn't make sense yet, this is not going to hurt you. This is so hard. This only dimly makes sense to me. I promise that the things you don't know aren't going to hurt you, at least in free code camp so far.
It'll be super fine.
So
So, we
setting the
have learned
content property to an empty string. This feels like I'm setting the content to nothing, but an empty string and no content are different.
yeah.
Okay. So, oh, I could put a little heart in here if I wanted to see how that would be different. Oh. Oh, this kind of gives me a hint about what we might be doing. I'm going to bring that cat back. Okay. Okay. This gives me an idea of maybe where the black keys are going to sit and how they're going to work.
Exactly.
That's
So
really comforting.
this is
I
an
love this. Oh, sorry.
sorry. No, you're totally fine. You love this?
Because this is saying, hey, if you want to experiment, get weird, but remember to take the weird parts away before your tests work.
Yeah.
I'm going to banish this
I
cat.
have a
Oh,
question for the
please.
learners, if I may. Why could we see the cat but not the heart? Bring the heart back, please.
Oh, we could see the heart. Oh,
Really? I couldn't. Oh, sorry. I can't see. I think I can see it, but barely. Maybe somebody has an answer for me.
This is a very good question for the learners. Sorry, I'm just rubbish where I was like, oh,
No, you're totally fine.
and y'all get to see which emoji I use the most often.
Oh no, we can't see the pop-up of
Oh, you
emojis.
can't see the pop-up. That's for the best. P-Tech after my own heart, and Kira as well, and Tessa as well.
Yep,
All of y'all are just out here saying, y'all, the contrast is not high enough to be accessible.
exactly.
I'm gonna get rid of my little happy heart friend. Check our code. We're about a third of the way done as well. We got to be careful not to do too much for folks.
Yep, do a little bit of responsiveness and then we'll
Yeah, just a little bit. Because I saw you staying up late last night.
I'm not staying up late.
Okay.
So, cool.
Oh,
Oh, I
heck.
think you're on Japanese keyboard.
That sounds like me.
All fine.
Hey.
Mhm. I have a question for the learners.
Yeah.
Is it gonna show are we gonna see it? Are we gonna see the black keys? I'm gonna answer this question from Steven while you type,
Yeah.
Jess. Are the black lines between the keys a border that we've forgotten about, or are they the after elements being rendered with no content? No, they all have a margin between them, if I can remember correctly. And the keys element is black bordered, black backgrounded.
Okay, so what we're seeing when we see the black line, like what feels like a black border
Yeah.
between the keys, is actually the space between the
Hmm.
keys. So it's the keys with an S div has a
Yep.
black background.
Correct.
It's not a border, but the white boxes we see are each individual key
Yep.
against a black background.
Correct. So it looks like a border, but they
And
just have a little space between them.
Stephen makes a really solid point that we could get the same visual effect by using borders.
Correct.
Everything's fine.
Still don't see. Now it's time for height and width for our black keys. So we'll set that width to be 32 pixels. Y'all, I don't want to hype this up too much, but this is where it gets really exciting because now we're going to see, should see, our
Oh,
black keys.
oh, oh. This is quite satisfying.
I think so. So it kind of looks like extra elements, and it kind of is. So all of the keys that have a black key will have an extra key.
Before and after.
No, just after.
Just after. Oh, wait, we're just doing after. We're just doing after. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this. Oh, and it's offset because we've got that minus 18 pixels moving it.
So it's moved a little bit to the left.
So it's 32 pixels wide, 100 pixels long,
Yeah.
and then shifted after. So this one right here, this first black key is
Yeah.
coming after this first white key or the first key.
Not quite.
No,
If you go back to HTML for me real quick, we can take a
I
look.
refuse.
I'm sorry. It's the black key of the second key. So the second keys, the before and after naming can be a little bit confusing here. It essentially gives you access to two extra elements. However, um, the this first black key is the after element of the second key moved over to the left.
Yes. Or at least for me.
No, that's
And the cool thing is, if this doesn't make sense to y'all, just experiment for ages. I think,
move them around.
right? And the other thing is, if you do all of this, you do the whole certification, this still doesn't make sense, it is okay. This part isn't going to hurt you if you come back in a week or in 2 weeks or in a couple of
Yeah.
months. Or do you know what? Not your boss, and I'm your teacher. But this, I don't think this is going to hurt you if this is one of these things where you learn it and then you don't really grapple with it until you next see it in a project.
Mm-hmm.
Add an image element before my key. Oh no. So it told us really carefully how to do the other things. And now it's putting us back into HTML. What are we doing?
So
So
we're gonna.
an image element before our keys element. We're not doing
So
anything with CSS right now.
nope, we're in HTML.
Okay, I was getting used to this being a lot harder than it is. And source, not screen, even though in my heart it's screen. And what do we always need when we have an image?
And
Unless
alt
it's
text.
purely spacer.
And we also have a class.
Oh, a class as well. Heck, heck, heck.
You're all fine.
This
Shall
is
we do
why
them in
you're in
reverse order?
charge. A class of logo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Alt
going to do the
text is
alt text before the source just to make sure it's in there. Free Code
perfect.
Camp logo. Okay, and by doing that, even though the contrast is a little bit not great, I see that we get the broken image.
Mm-hmm.
Learners, not you. Why is it
Not me.
broken? Why is this broken
Yeah.
right here? Um, and I'm going to go on and not wait for these answers because I'm rude. And once I get that source, oh, that's quite big.
That is very big.
This is not feeling like a very responsive piano so far. This is
I'll
it's very big.
bet
But when
it'll
we
get
check our
better.
code, we've got that green stripe. None of this is hurting us.
Now we're gonna style our logo.
So logo, that's a class selector.
Mm-hmm.
The width is 200 pixels.
Yeah.
The position is ABSOLUTE. And the top is set to 23 pixels.
Where'd it go?
Everything's fine. Okay. The image element needs its parent to have a position set to have a point of reference. In order to set the position of the image, I need to set the position of its parent, and its parent is the piano.
Yes.
Cool.
Jess, can we try something before we do this?
Yeah.
Before we put in the position of the piano,
Yeah.
could you give me a background color for the image?
Oh, yeah. Can I?
If you scroll down
Ah,
to
logo.
logo. This is based on what we learned yesterday, so I am obnoxiously happy about this.
Yeah.
So we've set
I
position.
love how you just like
Oh, I
so.
am. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was just like I
No,
feel
no, no, no.
vindicated.
Go.
So the logos set to position absolute. Now we remember from yesterday from that extra time we spent after that that absolute position is set relative to the nearest positioned ancestor
The
or
child?
the what? Sorry,
Nearest
Rel-
position ancestor. Oh, so parent or grandparent or
exactly,
the rules for the body if it has to go high and if it can't find a.
exactly.
So it's going to look up to people who are older than it,
Yep,
and it's going to take the first rule it can find from somebody in charge.
exactly. That has a position. So because we don't have a position in any of its containers, it's going cool. I'm going with the body. If y'all miss this, go check out the recording where I learned this live yesterday. So what we're going to be doing in this step is setting the position of the piano to be relative.
Wait,
That
I
way,
forgot how to spell a word that's important. And what?
no,
So
I'm laughing. Yeah, sorry.
while I'm looking up this word that's important,
Yes.
I think that this concept of looking for looking for a parent or looking for somebody else and automatically taking the rules from them, I think this is just for you don't have to do the JavaScript course, but for folks who are going to be joining us, this might be good. You don't have to know this yet. I just want to put this word out into the world. This sounds like a concept of inheritance, both from a material. Oh, my grandmother gave me these earrings.
Yeah.
And also this is going to be a concept that we pick up in JavaScript. So this concept of we're going to have the logo inherit
Yeah.
the position rules from the first ancestor it can find that has position rules.
Yeah.
So
Not
any
just that, Jess. Not
mm,
just in JavaScript. Let's delete this background color real quick if you don't
okay.
mind.
I love the way you were like, it's not just JavaScript. This is a more general object-oriented programming, and even more general, this is a more general computing concept, isn't it? Like a core
Actually,
concept of computing.
absolutely. Actually, if you scroll all the way up, we'll see it.
We'll see what?
Go all the way up.
All the way up.
All the way. Look at
All the
that.
way.
Line 6.
Oh, we already said in here I could have given y'all a spoiler right then. Oof, oof, oof. So, the position, which I probably misspelled.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got distracted.
What position?
That's perfectly spelled.
I'm in piano and
Mhm.
relative.
Oh,
So now that I've
the
set
sorry, it's relative is there we go.
Do
The L
you
yeah.
know what the hardest thing we're gonna learn is English? And actually, this is a good time too. If I do this, can you grab the beta for professional programmer English that they're doing on
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna grab this. Everything works. Unfortunately, like I don't mean to suggest that you need to do things in English. You need to work in English. But unfortunately, a lot of jobs and a lot of I'm gonna give you this a border radius of 10 pixels while I chat. A lot of um, a lot of remote jobs in tech tend to work in English, and I don't personally think that's great. I think that I personally think, just to get a little bit political myself, I think English is sort of a default language for business and tech is not cool. I say in English. But for folks who do want to work on their English for professional, technical purposes, Free Code Camp just launched a beta course for that. So we're
Awesome.
gonna give the key selector a what's a border radius?
Ooh, a border radius. We actually did that in the last step as well. It's just rounding off a little bit our rectangle. So here we're gonna set
0
3
top,
sorry, 4
0 right.
top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right.
Oh,
Is that correct?
I
Yeah,
mean
it's not super visible, but if you look at the bottom of the white keys,
oh,
they're
oh, a little,
a
but
little rounded
just
off
these because 'cause we've just said the bottom
of the
and
key,
left.
not the black keys, not the
Okay.
after elements.
But you know what? We've got that green stripe which says it works, and I'm happy when it works.
Absolutely.
Give the key dot black slash key after selector a border radius of I'm gonna copy this,
Do it.
and I think I know what this is gonna do. I think it's gonna give our black keys a little rounded bottom on both sides, just like we saw. Yeah, just like we saw with the white ones. So just a very subtle visual effect. Submit and go. Now it gets hard.
It's
So I'm
time.
gonna read this first,
Yes. I'll
just so we can
answer a
start
Mitch's
yeah,
great
just so we can
question.
start like examining it from a documentation perspective. So using at media, the media at rule is also known as a media query. So if you ever get stuck or if you ever get annoyed or a bit pissed off, searching for media query CSS, if it's gonna be what unsticks you. And this means it's used to conditionally apply CSS. What does conditionally mean here?
So we have a condition here that we're going to only apply these styles if this condition is true.
Okay. Oh, I'm I hate to keep being like in JavaScript, Will, but this concept of saying, "Hey, I want to write out a condition, and if condition is true, do something." It's going to be something that comes up a lot.
Yeah.
So here, when we're using the media at rule, hang on, we'll read through the rest of this. Media queries are commonly used to apply CSS based on the viewport using the max width and max win properties.
Mhm.
Let's make this sort of human speech. I can use the at media rule
Yep.
or a media query, same thing. And
Yep.
I can use it to set a rule that says, hey, if a if a viewport, so if the screen someone's looking at this website on is at least this big,
Yeah.
deliver the CSS. Or I could say, if the rule is no bigger than this,
Yeah.
use this CSS. So I can set different rules of style. I can write different CSS,
Yeah.
but then say, use this one if the screen is bigger than this. Use this one if the screen is smaller than that.
Exactly.
And the
So in
syntax
this
here kind
example,
oh, please?
no, no, go ahead. And
No,
the
no, I was
syntax?
gonna say this is kind of weird and wiggly, but you were gonna explain it in a useful way.
Oh, no, no, I was gonna say the same thing, that it looks a little bit weird at first. We're saying, "Hey, we're gonna have a media query in here. The CSS in here will only apply if the screen as long as the width is a maximum of 960 pixels wide. So if it gets anywhere to, like, 961, don't apply this anymore."
Okay, this seems a little stressful. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna type this out. I'm not even gonna type this out. I'm gonna copy and paste this. Our learners who are better learners than I am are gonna type it out just to get used to the muscle memory here.
Yeah,
And
sounds
here
good.
it says, this is what we need.
You want
Ah,
a media
so
query
we've
that will be a
copied code,
yeah.
but it doesn't want the CSS rules. So we're gonna leave this
Nope.
blank for now.
We just want that media query to be applied when the
And
viewport is 768 or below.
okay, so that's max.
Correct.
Okay. Do you like how sure I sounded?
Oh, I did that in my head like 30 times. Like, you're good.
This
So
doesn't do anything
it's not
yet.
going to do anything.
Adil is so sweet. Adil is just like, do you need to change that? We absolutely did. Thank you, my love. I'm always
Absolutely.
over familiar. So this doesn't do anything yet. We're just building out the media query. Everything's fine.
Correct.
It can't hurt us. And this syntax is gonna feel familiar. Yeah. So I'm gonna set a rule inside my media query. And so far as this media query, it's gonna feel like starting a brand new it's the way I'm gonna write this out is as if I've got a brand new CSS file. So even though
Yeah.
I have a piano selector, here,
Hmm.
here I'm saying, do you know what? If this media query is saying, yo, 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 if the width of this is at least 768 pixels, apply this instead.
Not quite.
Oh
It's not
no.
at least, it's up until.
Up until max.
Exactly. So while the width is 768 or less, then do the CSS.
So this feels weird, but I'm putting these curly babies inside these
Mhm.
curly babies being a highly technical term. So I'm gonna give me even more space. I'm writing CSS inside the media query. So the media query
Correct.
starts here. I
Mhm.
start writing my CSS where these curly braces open. And then my media query ends here. So
Yeah.
really, I've got curly babies inside of curly babies. Is this going to be extremely cursed at any time while I'm doing this? Will I ever forget where these open or close?
Oh, yeah. You might mix some stuff up. It happens to me all the time.
And will this absolutely come back and haunt us in JavaScript?
All the time.
Will this
But
make us
it's
cry?
okay. Sean says there are definitely curly babies from now on.
Please don't say curly babies in interviews. I'm so sorry. It's just the best way to because like in are they something very cool in German? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to quiz you.
Oh, geez. I have no idea. In Spanish, they're llaves,
Are they Yavis? That's quite
like key.
pretty.
Yeah.
So here, oh, oh, that felt really exciting. So here,
Yeah.
because this preview screen that I'm looking at this on is smaller than 768 pixels, it's giving the piano container, the piano div,
Mhm.
a 358 pixel. And this probably doesn't do exactly what we want it to because
The
oh,
keys
heck,
are,
the keys sort of escape it. The keys jump out.
they overflow.
They overflow. That's a good way to say this. But we see that when I increase the size of the viewport, when it when it gets bigger, it gets bigger. Okay. I think that what we're gonna do is um oh, people saying that we can call the curly babies in Spanish laves or teclas.
Teclas.
Oh no, you know what? This we're gonna shelf this for 2026. But if I ever get my Spanish back up, oh, Andre says it's. I refuse. I refuse. This word is too difficult.
I love this word. It's, I'm gonna mispronounce it, geschweifte Klammern,
Geschwasch, which I assume means curly babies in German.
pretty much.
um. So And I think we're gonna be cruel. I think we're gonna be mean to our learners and just do a couple more of these just to feel out
Sounds
the
good.
context a little bit more. Partially because I'm evil. Oh, so that worked. So all we're doing here is setting the responsive size of the piano div, and we're letting these keys overflow for now. Okay. Oh, we're using more and more programmery language as we do this as well.
Mhm.
Do you want to do just this one more and then abandon them?
I think this is a good place to stop. So inside a media query, you can have more than one CSS selector and declaration. So after our piano, we can add an entry. What?
Oh,
Sorry,
so while I'm doing this, also, folks, if you have any questions at all, go ahead and throw them in and we'll do them in
please.
just a second. So this is where the curly babies are going to get us. This is where the geschwafte Klammern are gonna pinch us good.
Yeah.
Um, so
We want to be very
here's where our
clear. Yeah,
media queries start. Here's what opens. Here's where I'm writing my new CSS is anywhere from line 53 to 55.
correct.
And this is my piano selector. So what I need to do is I want to come down and give myself some space. The space here is really just for me as a person to make it, and I love this term, human readable. Because human readable genuinely literally just means, hey, this is less stressful for humans to read. So I've given myself a lot of space. I've put these little curly babies on different lines. And this is
Mhm.
for me, so I can come in and say, all right, this is formatted out. This feels okay.
Yep.
Where does this curly baby end? And it ends on the same level of indentation as it began.
Yeah.
Does that, if you're brand new to programming, that doesn't feel important, does it? I promise that's super important and it will get you. Okay, so now our keys, they kind of overflow out the bottom still, but I
They
bet
are
they're
wrapping.
wrapping. So that's not overflow, that's wrapping. Fabulous.
I
Oh,
love what
I
Stephen
like
B says.
this.
Oh, go ahead.
So we've got a question from Stephen. We'll get this in just a second. Sean, I like this. So saying, you know what? The so yes and no. So conceptually, it's the same website, it's the same HTML, it's the same content, but the rules of style can be written and applied completely differently. So if I was being a jerk, and I'm always being a jerk, I'm like, technically it's the same website. But so far as your users experience the website,
Yep.
it's gonna feel entirely different. You've got and the keywords user experience are a whole field of research, a whole field of practice. But think about how users on different screens will interact with it, how it'll look, how it'll feel to them.
Mhm.
I think it's accurate to say this is gonna feel like kind of a sub website different for each size. Sorry to pick on you, just be like, I love that. I love that.
No, it's great because then, like, I mean, right now we're looking at the media query of the size of the viewport, but media implies a lot, and this is where you're going to see things like accessibility concerns. For example, and we'll get to this later, if you prefer to have fewer animations on your browser, you can write CSS that disables animations if you have animations on your website. This is
Are we
also where you
gonna learn
we
any
are going to learn.
animations? Are we gonna
We're
learn any
gonna
cute animations?
They're so cute, y'all. This is also where we get stuff like media for the screen. We're doing media on the screen, but it's not just screens, is it? You can also have media queries to have special CSS for when you're printing a website.
Or I do that to, like, save it to PDF a lot.
Or yeah, sorry, when you're saving to PDF.
Oh, no, but, like, it's still the print mode under the hood. Hang on. You stayed on forever last night, and you're a much better teacher and much nicer than me. I'm lazy, and I'm going to sleep in a second. So, let's answer these questions. Tomorrow, it's gonna be even worse for our learners because we've got the double whammy of it's a project and you only get the mean teacher tomorrow.
No,
So
but
it's
I'm off tomorrow.
yeah, so let's start hustling through those questions, and I'm just gonna get a link for what we're gonna be looking at tomorrow. You don't have to start. Nothing bad's gonna happen.
Oh, shall I bring back the screen share? Oh no,
Oh, no, I'm just gonna share the link. I
that
don't
makes
wanna
sense.
get too
Oh, yeah. Cool. Let's I actually do want to share my screen for just a minute
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
Stephen B's question looks fascinating and I want to mess around with it. So, Stephen B's question, I just jumped to a random step here. With the first two rule sets in this project, the HTML border box and the star before and star after, matter in the order because one of the values is inherit, or is this all sorted out in the compiling and rendering? So you probably saw my question in the chat. Sorry, you saw my reply in the chat. I don't think the order matters because these styles cascade. But hey, we don't have to take my word for it. Let's give it a try. Let's see what happens if I delete this HTML border box. Watch the keys. We got some space. Cool. Let me put it after. It's back. So the styles cascade. First we said, cool, it's inherited. And then HTML said, oh, hey, it's border box. So then the browser, when rendering or when displaying this website, says, oh, right, I'm inherited. So it comes from border box. Hope that makes
Okay.
sense.
No. If I let you, you're gonna spiral forever, and it'll be, like, 3 hours later, and you'll be like, "Actually, I've explained this 47 ways." No. Illegal. Not allowed.
I haven't done. I didn't do anything. Cool. I'll take us to the next question. Let's go back to the styling of the key the key and black key after. Why is that the selector? We're only styling the diffs with the class black key after. Well, hold on. Well, we'll get to that. You can take out the key at the start and it works the same. So you're saying, hey, why are we doing this here? And in order to do that, let me just actually step out for a second and go to a bit of a later step. I think it was 26. Yeah, this looks good. Cool. So you're saying, why are we styling this when we could just do this?
Do you know what?
What's that?
Mitch has gone absolutely meta with this question. So, A, you should still walk through this, but Mitch just, like, explains it in a second to say, "Oh,
Oh,
cool." Mitch was saying that they were having a challenging time with the multi-class selector.
right. Right.
What
Sorry.
what
Yeah.
could you
So,
just explain really briefly what that is?
yeah. So there is a difference here because here we're saying, well, let's go with just this. Here we're targeting elements that have the class black key, and those elements with the class black key, we are targeting their after pseudo elements.
Okay, so the space after those black keys only, not so the multi-class selector would require the keys we're targeting to have both the class of key and black key.
Exactly.
This might be useful if we were making like a xylophone or a keyboard, where
Mhm.
sometimes we might want to target the space after a key that not we might want to target the space after a key that isn't necessarily just with the that has the class black key. We might want to, yeah. Okay. And Mitch makes a really good point to say, for our use case, for the code we have here, black key
Yeah.
by itself works. And you're right. This is something where they've kind of sneakily said, like, let's use this trickier syntax because maybe they like being mean to learners too. But I think
I
it's
got
more
an
likely
I
that they
got an
wanted to
idea.
use something hard. Hmm?
I got an idea. Here we're talking very specifically about an element that has both the class key and black key. But what if I have a key in my HTML, like an image of a turnkey for a door that happens to be black, and that's a black key? Here we're
Okay.
being specific.
A black key that is also a key. You know what? We've said key too many times. It doesn't it, like, no, we've got to
Yeah.
bail out. We've got to stop.
Fair, fair. Uh,
So
oh, I love this. Can I highlight this from Stephen B?
yeah, because then I'm going to answer Kira's question very unhelpfully, but very excitedly.
Stephen B says, I'm always getting confused by max width meaning less than and min width meaning larger than as well. So to keep that straight, I always write a comment above the media query to explain it to keep myself on track. This is such good advice and also a great use case of comments.
I always forget some bad example, but I often think about those when you go to a roller coaster and you get the the little height things that says, oh, and often it'll say min height. It's like, oh, you have to be at least this tall. And
Oh yeah.
max height on the kitty ones that say, oh, if you're taller than this is going to happen. But I agree, Stephen B. Like the comments is clearly better than me going, oh, it's like a roller coaster. Kira, I'm so sorry. I'm so excited about this. How do we get better at grasping the whole before after thing? So pseudo elements are so the I'm gonna rely on the three things you can do. You can ask somebody, and unfortunately, you've asked us. Oh no, we've already gone over it. You can look it up and look at you. You're just well ahead of me to be like, I'll look it up. But I think for something that's so conceptually wubby being a very technical term that means nothing. So because this is sort of soft and formless, like fog or jello or my brain when I first wake up, the best way to really understand what's going on here is to just play with it. So I really like the MDN has like a little playground where we could try the demo, but really going into your own code and saying, oh, I'm going to do that. What did that do? Why did that do that? Um, yeah, so I'm so sorry. It's very unsatisfying, but I think that getting weird and experimenting, like this is an example where getting weird is probably going to be the most satisfying way to get used to it. I'm sorry. I'm excited. I'm not sorry. I'm excited and it's going to be a little very quickly and then we're going to log off and everybody I'm going to give people half the homework, you give people half the homework.
Sounds good.
I
So
want everyone to have a very relaxing afternoon or morning. I want you to have the rest of your day be as chill as possible. I don't want you to have any problems you don't need to have. I want you to be very soft and gentle with yourself. What do you want them to do?
I would love it if y'all could please finish off the piano lessons. So
Mm.
because tomorrow, oh, let me bring my screen back.
Oh, that's mysterious. I like it.
Well,
Oh,
did my thing refresh? That was weird.
no,
I hope it.
one of us froze for just a second. I can't tell who, and I'm unworried.
Whew. Um, right. To do the rest of these, there's only a handful left because tomorrow we'll start with the next certification project.
Oh, and this I really like this because we'd be looking at technical documentation. And a lot of times when we look at technical documentation, it still feels too technical and hard for us when we're first starting out.
Mhm.
Um, I might see if I can get somebody to compare. No pressure. I'll just think. I'll keep that idea in my heart. I'm gonna let everybody go. Please have the easiest possible time. Do you want to push the button? I mean, you're giving them the hard homework. You should also push the end button just so you can be the bad person all over the place.
Sounds good. Thank you all so much for joining, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Oh
Bye
gosh,
for now.
or whenever you've got time. Bye, my loves.
Bye.